Spell your first and last name and state your position for us.
I'm Danielle Giles, Danielle. Last name is Guilds, and I am the captain of the Criminal Investigations Division.
Danielle, right?
Yes.
Okay, wonderful. Danielle, can you tell us kind of just what we talked about off camera? People sharing information, and then are you having issues with these crowds that are growing from things from social media or anything of the sorts? What can you tell us about this one?
Yeah, so as the weather is getting warmer, we do expect crowds in the city of Kalamazoo. On this one, it was a planned event. The host did everything right. They advertised, they had security, they had limits of people that could be there. And for this one, unfortunately, it took a tragic turn, and somebody did lose their life.
Yeah. And then currently right now, you have a photo of two people. Can you explain who they are in relation to this case, in the sense of like their subjects, suspects, or what you're looking into?
Yeah, so we did release a photograph of two individuals who we do know that were on scene from surveillance camera. We are looking to identify and interview them. We were able to identify and interview one of them last night. We are still looking to identify the second subject. That's going to be the subject in the red hoodie. That is our primary focus right now, is to identify him, to interview him, and get further information to further this investigation.
Are you looking at him as a potential suspect?
It is possible at this point. It's really too early to say if he is a suspect, how he was involved. Again, it's really important though that we identify him, that we interview him, and get his statements from being on scene there.
Okay. And then the other man that was in the blue has been just identified as a witness at this point?
Yes, so the gentleman that was in the blue, he has came forward. He is cooperating with the investigation. He is identified, he has given an interview. We believe that he was a witness to the altercation.
Okay. So from what he told you, I know you can't share what he told you, but did he provide some helpful information that you were able to maybe take a lead off of that with who this suspect is?
Yeah, but we're not going to release that information at this time.
Okay. So with what can you tell us about this incident? We know that from what I shared from the owner, from the information that I know from the owner, it was a WMU president who had rented out this space and for this venue. Sounds like the crowd started growing. Is there anything of the sorts that you can tell us when officers did arrive? Obviously they heard that gunshot. I'm sorry, I'm gonna step back. So when officers were called, do you know the reasoning of why they were called? Was it because there was an altercation? Was it because it was a rowdy crowd? Why were they called?
Okay, so the owners did call us right around 11 o'clock, and they were just being proactive because the crowd was beginning to grow, and they just wanted our assistance with being on scene and helping to break up that crowd a little bit. It was not a call of any sort of fighting, any sort of argument, any sort of altercation originally.
So it seemed like the owner was trying to be proactive in protecting people.
Yes, the owner was cooperative, and they were trying to get ahead of any potential issues.
Yeah. And then when officers arrived on scene, we know that the shots that were fired were not before officers arrived, but in fact after they arrived. So those officers, did they see the gunshot? What happened when they got there?
So when officers arrived on scene, they did exit their vehicles and they did hear a gunshot. They did not see the shooter. They did not see the shooting itself. They did respond, found the victim, and immediately started to render medical attention to him.
Was it kind of chaotic for officers when they got there? Was it a big crowd when they got on scene? Was it dispersing? What was happening?
There was a large crowd there when officers arrived, but they were dispersing, especially because of the gunfire. People were trying to get to safety.
Okay. And then, have you guys been successful with talking to anyone that was there, potential other witnesses? I know that you had the one from the photo. Obviously, people run when they see police, when they hear gunfire. Has there been cooperation within the community that have helped at all with this?
Yeah, we have received several silent observer tips reference this incident. We are going through each and every single one of those to see if it's relevant. The most important thing that I can stress though is if you were there, even if you don't think you were involved, if you don't know what you saw, if you have video from the incident, we don't know quite yet what led up to this, the extent of it. So any amount of information is actually helpful to us. So if we could stress that if you were there, if you have video, please come forward, just give a brief interview to detectives so that we can hopefully solve this crime.
Do you believe that this was a targeted shooting? We have, just the information we have, there was an altercation between security guard and a customer. Was this did they know each other, I guess?
At this point, we don't have an indication that they did know each other prior to this altercation. However, we are still in very early stages of this investigation.
Does it appear to be a targeted shooting?
What do you mean by your question?
Does it appear that, you obviously don't know if the two knew each other, but does it appear to be that the suspect was intentionally out to shoot and kill that security guard?
It's too early to say whether or not this was an intentional shooting. However, it was an altercation between these two parties that did result in gunfire.
How alarming is that, in the sense of, like, this did happen at a business? This happened with people around?
There were several there. It was an unfortunate incident in the fact that somebody did lose their lives. However, we are fortunate that this was not worse. There was a potential for several people to be injured in this incident.
Because there was several people around, right?
Yes, this happened in a crowded area where there were several subjects in the immediate vicinity.
Should the public be concerned at all? You know, obviously the suspect could potentially still be out there. You just kind of said you don't know exactly if this was targeted, if this one person knew this other person. Should the public be concerned at this point?
I do believe that this was an isolated incident. However, we are looking to identify those who are involved. The suspect is not caught. The suspect is at large, so we are looking for the community to help us with solving this case.
And you said you're looking for one person.
We are looking for one shooter.
Okay, and a man, you said?
Yes, male
Okay.
shooter.
Anything else that I missed that you'd like to add?
I would push silent observer, because
Okay.
if you don't want to come forward to, the detectives bureau, then that's another option. And then I would still stress on the whole with people talking. I know we kind of maybe briefly touched on it, but like, you may be seeing names out there, like that generality statement.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Let's
okay.
go ahead and do that. Yeah.
Okay.
Go ahead.
So we would like to stress, if you have information, you can either call our detective bureau, or another option is to report anonymously through Silent Observer. You can share photos, you can share videos, you can share information that is very needed for this investigation. Additionally, you are going to see that Kalamazoo Public Safety did share photos, and we're going to be sharing some videos. A lot of comments are being made on that. I would caution, okay, I'm going to stop real quick. I have wording, sorry.
I don't mind baby birding, but essentially I would caution, I don't know. Well, now you got me on.
Yeah, I was going to say, I'm trying to think of how to best
I
put
would
that.
just caution on acting on any of the information that you're seeing in those comments.
Okay.
As they haven't been substantiated.
Okay.
It's good that the public is, coming forward with information.
Okay.
But we will be the ones to update you when we make significant leads in the case. Just
Okay.
the biggest thing is we don't want panic
To
or
share,
people being
not to
targeted.
share misinformation.
Yeah, misinformation. That's the biggest thing. So,
Okay.
You got it.
All right. We would like to highlight that we are sharing a lot of information about this shooting on social media, and to make sure that the public isn't sharing misinformation. When we have major case updates, we will update the public accordingly, including suspect information, witness information that we're looking for, but to just be careful and cautious about sharing names that may not be correct and we have not been able to fully vet out quite yet.
Yeah. I want to hit back on it because I think you touched on it. I don't know how deeply, but people sharing, I guess per se, about these house crawls, bar crawls on social media, and then all these people flooding into these businesses. Is this becoming a problem? Are you seeing this social media trend where people are sharing information? Hey, come here, and then it's just getting out of control?
I've not personally seen that.
Okay. Okay. Anything else?
Not that I have.
I think I'm okay. You said 3 homicides this year. How many last year?
10.
10. Okay. But on pace, kind of similarly to last year? Okay. Okay. Good.
Thank you so much.
Good. Thank you.
Yeah.
And grab that mic from you.